graphic nature of this program, listener discretion is advised.
What are your qualifications?
Well, I attended Juilliard. I'm a graduate of the Harvard Business School. I travel quite extensively. I lived through the Black Plague, and I had a pretty good time during that. I've seen The Exorcist about 167 times, and it keeps getting funnier every single time I see it. Not to mention the fact that you're talking to a dead guy. Now, what do you think?
When I step up in the place, say yo, I step correct. Got you all in check. I got that head nod shit that make you put your neck. I got you all in check. And you know we come through to wreck the discotheque. I got you all in check. Throw your hands up in the air, don't ever disrespect. I got you all in check.
It's just a coincidence that you were talking about the Jack and Triumph show, and I'm here.
Thank you so much for having me on your podcast.
Hey man, this is Kevin Smith, guy who makes all those unlistenable podcasts over at smodcast.com, and you're listening to the Two Strangers, One Podcast. This is podcasting.
You're listening to Two Strangers, One Podcast. Subscribe to us on iTunes or on the Stitcher app for Android devices. Please visit twostrangersonepodcast.net. Now, here's Chris Cologne and Paul Pasquillo.
Well, hello and welcome to Two Strangers, One Podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Paul.
And Paul, I don't know when this episode comes out, but if I go at my usual pace, this will probably come out a week before my birthday. The big 4-0. And I have...
The big O?
The big 4-0. And I don't have any plans. It's sad and it's kind of pathetic that I don't have any real plans. It's my 40th birthday. And coincidentally, it was also the 40th anniversary of Star Wars. I should have saved that for the second half of the show, the nerdy news. But so when Star Wars came out, I was still inside my mommy's belly. But now it's my 40th birthday coming up. And right now, it's like... I would love to like go out and do something, and it's not, and I've had a couple bucks recently. Like I've gone out to a couple shows.
I've had a couple bucks,
I mean, it's nice to have like money in my pocket. Not that I'm like going out there and spending money like a madman, but like, well, you see me enough when I go to your job, when I go to the movies on Thursday nights, when I know I have to work Friday morning, and I don't think
Thursday, every Thursday, like clockwork, here comes this gentleman walking up to my box office, and I'm going, oh God.
Well, because like every Thursday, there's been a movie that I've kind of wanted to see. I mean, like, okay, the last one, yeah, well, I think, the last one I saw was Wonder Woman, but we'll get to that in the second half of the show. And let me tell you, people, let's bury the lead. I did not like Wonder Woman, but we'll save that for the second half of the show. A couple weeks ago, and I don't think
it has a female lead.
Yeah, and I'm an evil misogynist scumbag
bastard. Why, I don't
bastard.
know, but he's a bastard.
But it was the week before that, it was Alien Resurrection. Or not Alien Resurrection, what am I saying? Alien Covenant, which was...
disappointing at best.
It was, and you know what it is? I didn't see Prometheus. This is more of a Prometheus Part 2 than it was an Aliens movie. Like, I mean, obviously there were aliens in it, and it's called fucking Aliens. But it was more of a...
Well, the whole intention of them naming it Alien Covenant instead of Prometheus 2 or whatever they were going to name it, was to bring more people in, and it failed miserably.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, it wasn't good. It wasn't even good. There's some movies that are great, some movies that are... It wasn't good. It was serviceable. Like, it's definitely a Redbox rental or whatever, like if you could see it, catch it on cable or on Netflix, you can give it a view, but I didn't, I wasn't head over heels.
Let me just say it this way. Working at the movie theater business now, there are movies now that I see that come out in the movie theater, and I look at them and I go, that should go straight to DVD, or that should go to Netflix. That's usually what I say, is Netflix. Because you got, for example, you got this new Diary of a Wimpy Kid. It's not doing as well. The people that are in it look like somebody that you would just do a straight to DVD.
Yeah, it does. The Diary, and it's sad because my daughter's half brother, when he was like primary age for like prime demographic for when that movie came out, and and they sort of I don't know, it's kind of weird because it's not really a reboot because
it's not a reboot. It's actually another.
But they kept the animation from the book. Well, they kept the characters from the books I guess they kind of have just the intros like the cartoon, but there's all these all new characters. And it's all new people playing these, and obviously the kid that's a Wimpy Kid is probably like high school age now, so it's not gonna. Right. But and you got the Captain Underpants. I don't. I'm not. Well, then again, my daughter isn't into that right now, so we didn't see that. But back to like going to the movies. The week before that, though, I cheated on you. And I went to go see Guardians of the Galaxy. Well, the last episode we talked about Guardians of the Galaxy.
No, I thought you came. I know you went to there, but didn't you see that one too?
Okay, no. When Guardians of the Galaxy came out, I saw it here in the local IMAX theater out here, the Tinseltown. I went to Tinseltown and had the arranged. They had the arranged seating, and it's like that.
Do they have arranged seating?
They moved the arranged seating to the IMAX now.
Oh god!
So it's awesome. I mean, that's awesome, but
funny thing about that is they've always had like what is it? They've always had like numbers and letters, like when you go to like
in a seat. Yeah, they always
right. So they've always
seats.
had that in the IMAX. They just never did it because, well, why do you need to do it? And it was only because like for special shows.
Yeah.
But there again, IMAX all of a sudden went from having those like special like Natural Geographic ones to like all of a sudden now it's just we're just gonna put movies up. So because of that, they didn't use it anymore. So it makes sense that they're doing it, but it's not luxury seating, right?
No, it's not luxury seating. It's the same. It's the same seats. It's arranged seating now. But let me tell you, because I was there, and they go like I want to say the movie was like, let's say it was like a 10:15 show. I went and I got out of work at 9. I got there like at 9:30. And there was literally 4 seats left, and there was like a single seat.
It's basically what happens. Here's what you got to understand about IMAX. IMAX with luxury seating or without, and I hope they don't go to luxury seating because I think they can pack more people.
That would be stupid.
Right, they can pack more people in without it. With the thing is IMAX sells out like this. So you being able to get tickets when you did was very lucky because I'm gonna tell you something right now. It usually sells out the week. Like let's say it's gonna come out this Friday. By Thursday, it's sold out for the whole weekend. Just like basically the luxury theaters are now.
Yeah.
Except the difference is the luxury theaters have like 30 to like between 30 and 100 seats in each theater. 100 seats if they're lucky. The IMAX has about 300 to 400. It's probably about 400, 400 to 500, I think, in that IMAX theater. If I remember, I haven't been in there in a long time. But what I'm trying to say is basically it's very.
They're making more money,
right?
Than luxury, and
they've always done that. That's the thing. Like they've always been able to sell that theater out no matter what was going on. Now they had problems with their regular before they put the luxury in. They weren't doing as well, but it is what it is. So.
Yeah, but like I went and it was me, and then there was a single seat, and then there was 3 seats behind me that were empty. And I said, you know what? Let me not be an asshole. Let me fill the fucking single seat. So I filled the single seat, and I'm a big guy, and I'm not gonna lie. The movie I was kind of like,
how much was that, by the way?
It had to be like $13.
Oh god, that's so expensive.
But look, I'm not. It's Guardians of the Galaxy, which is a movie you have to see in IMAX. You have to see in 3D. Right. I don't generally prefer. I don't on purpose go for the 3D screenings, but that's one of the movies where you kind of, if you're gonna go see it, I'll spend that $3-4 extra to go see it in 3D. So, but the one thing I kind of liked is that, and this is totally just me being egotistical, was that like I went and I knew people in the theater, like not like knowing you. I'm saying is like one of my old coworkers was in the theater, and I don't know what it is, and it's kind of sad I'm going out by myself, but but I do have you
went to the 3D one too.
I went to the 3D one, but I ran into like a guy that I knew from work, and I'm like, hey, and then about a week ago here in Rochester they had a thing called the Lilac Festival for people outside of Rochester. Is the Lilac Festival, and it's sort of they have this park and they kind of have games and the usual amusement park carnival crap that comes to town once a year. And I went there and I ran into like a guy from my old job. I ran into a guy from my current job. And it's something it makes me feel a little special when I go out and I see people I know. Because
does it make you feel special?
Yeah, it makes me feel special, goddamn. And when I went to the Lilac Festival, I had my daughter with me. So that was, I had my daughter. But when I went to the movies, I go by myself.
Well, how many did that do? I don't remember. I think it did about 50 to 60 people for the regular one and then the 3D one. And actually that 3D one you went into actually did pretty well on Thursday night. So I was kind of surprised about that. Well, see, the thing is now that these luxuries, there's all but 3 big theaters that still don't have luxury seating right now. And the thing is what's happening is there are a lot of people do like the luxury seating, but there's also a growing number of people that don't like the luxury seating. And it's the fact that it's reserved, like you were saying. And now that it's reserved for the IMAX, I'm sure people are pissed off about that too. Because I get people all the time, they'll come up and they'll be like, yeah, I just went to Tinseltown. It's sold out for the 50th time. I don't even know why I go there anymore. And I look at them, I'm like, why are you going there? You should just come here. We always have seats. We have 400... The Wonder Woman's in like a 400-seat theater. Like, you get a seat, you sit down, you're done, you're good, goodbye.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to worry about...
Yeah.
And by the way, if you're worried about urban people from the city coming in, I'm not trying to be racist here. But I'm sorry, it always happens on this podcast, it seems like. And by the way, that doesn't necessarily mean black either. There's some white people that are... trust me. Go down to 104. Anybody that lives in Rochester knows what I mean. But it's funny because during the week you can come in and you won't experience any of that. You'll get your seat. You'll be fine. And
I generally, obviously, most people go towards the middle aisle, middle of the row, and it's like, you'll kind of like, it's funny. You go to the theater and there's like, okay, a couple people in front of you, a couple people, like everyone's sort of in the middle, and that's how you're supposed to be. But let me tell you now. Later on, once again, in a moment, I'll get to Wonder Woman. But this is not part of the Wonder Woman review, but okay, we're going to see Wonder Woman opening night, Thursday night. Like, people know that it's coming out on Friday, but the real fans, people that are really, really into it, are going out Thursday night. So, I get into the theater, your theater. Once again, what happens? I run into people I know. That really pretty girl that came and hugged me, and Paul's like, "Who's that girl?" It was one of my ex-coworkers. She's a sweetheart. I mean, don't get me wrong, she's absolutely gorgeous, also. But that was nice to go out and see someone I know.
Get her number,
dude. I think she literally just turned 21. But then again,
nobody needs to know.
Then again, I'm a dirty old man, so
dude, nobody knows. Look, nobody knows. We're live on Facebook, but nobody knows. Come on, Chris, it's fine.
Well, no, I look old enough to cross the street, old enough to get hit. But if there's grass on the field, play ball. But and also, I don't, her and I, we're not into the same things. But that being said, we're watching Wonder Woman, Thursday night, the night. If anyone's gonna be a fan of this movie, it's gonna go out that night. Like 10 minutes into the fucking movie, some asshole pulls out his cell phone, and and he was sitting in the row from me, millennial aged, and then the funny thing is later on I saw he was wearing like a shirt, and he had he was wearing like a sweatshirt, like a hoodie, like a sweater hoodie, whatever, but like with the sleeves cut off, and then like on the back he had like in marker like the Anarchy A, but like really tacky, whatever. But I was livid. I said, I can't believe this fucking guy pulled out his phone fucking like 10 minutes into the movie. And I reached and I put my face in his face and I said, "You're not gonna do that the whole movie, are you?" And he goes, "Oh," and I said, "It's very distracting, "Oh, I'm sorry, sir," whatever. Like Why
can't I have more customers like you?
I'm Jesus not, because I was just, and the whole. It helped that he was also like in the row right in front of me. Because I would have probably yelled out, like if it's someone like 2 or 3 rows ahead of me, I'm not gonna get up and walk around them.
Right.
But since he was in the row, like if he's sitting, I like put my head down and I'm like, "You're not really gonna use that. You're not really gonna pull out that phone the whole movie, right?" Because I was in the mood. I was in a real fucking mood because hilarious. And I'm generally not like a confrontational person like that, But I'm like, it's 10 minutes into the movie, and I can understand if this was a movie that's been out 3 weeks. You know what I'm saying? You got a little more casual audience. People just want to kill a Friday night or something like that. No, these are people that are here the night it came out because they're fucking excited about seeing this movie. But the guy was shitting a brick. And someone like that, someone with that much fucking intent, I know the whole movie he wanted to take it out. You know what I'm saying? Like I know he could feel the fucking phone calling him.
So here's the thing.
If it's an emergency, take your phone and get the fuck out the theater. There's nothing that if it's that bad, then you could take your phone and go out the theater.
Here's the thing.
You got kids at home or something like that.
Here's for example for me, if I'm with my kid, I always sit in the back. And the reason I sit in the back row and watch a movie is because if I'm not interested in whatever he's watching, I'm on my phone. So I might as well be in the back row where I'm not disturbing anybody. People don't do that. And here's another problem that really annoys me. And this does happen in my theater, obviously, as you just said. You get these people that open up their cell phones and they're looking at their cell phones, whether it's the whole movie, part of the movie, whatever, and it pisses off customers. Then they come out at the end of the movie, and mind you, they never said one word to me, and the usher that I send in that comes around and looks and makes sure everything's good and whatever for the minute that they're in there, you don't say anything. What do you want me to do about it? I can't do anything about that shit when you don't tell me.
Yeah.
And it pisses me off because it's like, I understand that you had a bad experience, but why am I getting this information right now? I'm trying to make your experience better by throwing these idiots out. And I agree that they should be gone if they're using their cell phone in the middle of the goddamn theater and not in the back where nobody can.
Yeah, this kid. I mean, I was sitting in the middle and he was in front of me, and that means at least half the theater was behind me. I was like as in middle. I like to get in the middle as much as in the middle as I possibly can.
Right.
And so,
well, you were probably. I mean, I know which theater you were in. So you were. It's one of the smaller theaters, but yeah.
But I'm saying
that's going to be very annoying.
There was a bunch of people behind me, so I know at least other people in theater must have been happy by me standing up or whatever you want to call it, getting in the guy's face about it, because it was just fucking frustrating. You know what I'm saying? Like, are you that fucking ADD fucking addled that you can't even enjoy? We'll get to how Wonder Woman was horrible, and I kind of wanted to pull out my phone during the movie, but it's a fucking matter of principle. Now, here's the funny thing. Literally, like a minute after I told him it's distracting, it's funny, you mentioned the ushers that come in. Like a second after I tell this guy to fucking put his phone away, here comes the fucking usher with his fucking little flashlight fucking thing. And now, mind you, that's more distracting than anything. Jesus Christ, that fucking stupid flashlight. I just told the guy in front of me, it's distracting, and here comes fucking Opie Dopey fucking with his flashlight or whatever, And it's, I mean, I understand, and if, it's not like you could dim it or anything like that. But dude, hold it by your side, so the people by the theater, you're already all in black. Hold it on your side or something. So because he's swinging his arm, and I'm seeing this stupid fucking light, and I just told the stranger in front of me.
The reason that happens is because we have people that come in and check. Like I'm sure you had that at Rite Aid. Mm-hmm. They come in, they do a check, and they want to make sure that you're actually doing what you're doing. Mm-hmm. So in order for people to know that you're an usher, we have to give them a light. Mm-hmm. I happen to know that one's not a really bright light, but
well, no, that's what I'm saying is that tell the usher, look, if you're walking towards okay, and I understand they probably have a little checklist they have to check or something like that. They have to check in somewhere. They're walking, and let's just say if they're walking towards the little check-in point, and the theater is to their right, the audience is to their left. Keep the fucking flashlight in their right hand, but straight down, not waving back and forth when they walk. I'm trying to watch. I mean, look, I know that's really stupid. It's a stupid thing to ask for.
I understand what you're saying, because I've actually literally had people complain. They'll sit there and be like, why is there somebody in there with a light? And I'm like, well, first of all, that's our usher. Second of all, they're supposed to have a light to check. Well, that's bullshit. What are you talking about? Like, I'm trying, like, we're trying to make sure your movie is good, and you know that there's an usher in there. That's somebody that's checking. That's a good thing. Mm-hmm. But here's the problem. Why are you complaining about it? I get that the light was bright, but for 2 seconds your movie was disturbed. I'm sorry that your movie was disturbed for 2 fucking seconds. That always pisses me. It's one of those things that you're just sitting there and you wait for these customers to come out. Not wait for them, but you're sitting there.
You know they're gonna come out and fucking complain or whatever.
Right, and it's just it's kind of the reason why I do want luxury seating, just because then I'm not going to get as many stupid people, and that means that I'll actually have people that aren't going to be using their cell phones, that aren't going to be going in and out of other theaters when we're not looking. Let's face it, number one, there's no movie theater in this area that has security on 24/7 in a movie theater going from theater to theater, or even sitting in the theater. Now, Coleridge sometimes does that, but that's only
Friday nights and Saturday nights.
That's only, I think they do it Sundays too, but Fridays and Saturdays, their curfew sucks, because it's, movies after 9, and I'm sitting there going, that's not going to do anything. But yeah, I mean, they'll go in the theater and they'll sit there in some of these theaters. Like if it's a movie that they think that there's going to be a lot of stupid people in, they'll sit in there and they'll just start kicking people out. So, what I'm trying to say is like, people need to start like saying, and this goes for anybody that listens to this podcast or, goes to the movies. If you have an issue, come out immediately and let me know. And by the way, nobody's gonna come out and beat the crap out of you for complaining about them. Okay? Yeah. That's in the movies too. Yeah. By the way, at my theater, I have security that's on 24/7, not at the theater, but obviously in the place that we're located. Mm-hmm. So that way they can take care of it for you. And by the way, when they come over and they hear there's a disturbance, more than likely they're gonna bring the police officer that's in that place that I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to be vague because I don't want people to know where I work, but you get the picture. Like, you can come and say something to me, and I will take care of it. I love throwing people out. It is my favorite thing to do. When I'm having a bad day, the first thing I want to do is throw some idiot out. Like, that's my best thing. And then my favorite thing is where these parents, during the curfew times, will be like, oh, I'm going to buy a ticket. And then they'll put their kids in the theater and then walk right out and straight across in front of the box office. Like, well, you're not going to do anything now. And my security guards are like, yes, we are. And they go in, take their kids out and throw them out because their parents not in with them. So what I'm saying to you, what I'm trying to get across here basically is say something. Stop being a pussy. Say something, because you're the reason why the movie's being bad, because you won't say something.
Yeah. If you see something, say something.
Exactly.
All right. So we got Oscar mail.
I don't even want to know.
It's been a while. Well, actually, okay. So we were supposed to record last week.
Should we make that a segment? Oscar
mail. But Paul rather be with his family on a national holiday.
Oh, God forbid.
Than record as
God forbid.
This podcast is more important than your family. God damn it!
I love how you're laughing as you say that.
You tell your family you said, "Well, Dad, I'm sorry."
Okay, if it makes you feel better, I haven't done anything with Tsunami Faithful that day either.
Gotcha.
Okay,
you gotta say.
I didn't even do anything that week with Tsunami Faithful.
Sorry,
I'm just like whatever.
You know, Chris gets out of work. Oh no, actually, no, I was off. Yes, I was off that day. But
you were off Memorial Day. You're like, "Are we recording?" And then I was just like, "I'm not answering. I'm just doing stuff."
Sorry, Dad, I gotta go. Chris wants to record. I'll be back maybe.
Yeah.
So okay, Oscar, and I love his first mail. This is his first mail back after, God, I mean, it's literally been like 2 or 3 months since he wrote it. He just writes, one reason, Jen, she's horrible. And Jen's not on the show to defend herself.
Oh, Lord.
But, you know, Oscar, you know.
At least I know Oscar loves me.
You got, look, if anyone's going to be honest, it's going to be Oscar.
Wait, how many emails do we have from Oscar?
3 of them.
Oh, God.
Okay, and all right. So obviously, Oscar listened to the last episode because he goes once again. It's right to the point. You, Chris. Well, no, it not even says Chris. Excuse me. It just says you are a fat bastard, cold McRib. Yes, the cold McRib, and I guess By the way, somebody put something. I saw that somebody put the scene from Futurama that I was referencing. I was like, with
yes.
The parasites from Futurama.
I was like, yes, somebody gets the reference.
The tapeworms. You are a fat bastard, cold McRib. Yes, and I suffered my fatness. I suffered because of it.
Yeah, you deserved that one.
All right, and then I think this one's just a little bit on, and this one actually, honest, just sounds about a lot more. Civil. Happy anniversary to Two Strangers One Podcast, or 2S1P. Congrats on all the years. Thank you, Oscar. I would honestly say that Oscar's probably one of the reasons that I keep the show going, because
it's the only person that we have.
It's the only feedback we get. But another fan of the show, Tommy Bort. He's and I. Like, he had contributed to the Kickstarter. Oh no, not the Kickstarter. The Indiegogo that I did years ago, and I had back. When I was friends with this other podcast, I did a whole episode. I used to have a thing called the Chris's Hidden Metal Show, where I'd play like heavy metal music or whatever, and I would throw it in the episodes and then like delete them. Like, I'd have it up for like a week or so. So I dedicated an episode to him, and he commented about. I think Tommy was the one that put the parasites from Futurama. So it's nice to get. I mean, Tommy's feedback goes back to Facebook.
By the way,
him and I are more friends on Facebook.
Speaking of that, I noticed in those comments too, somebody had said, it might have been the same him too. Mm-hmm. They said that you should do a Patreon, which I think is a good idea.
Yeah, I think
nothing. Don't like sit there and go like, oh, we're gonna make like $500,000 on this podcast.
No, but even if it's a couple bucks, I mean, I know it sounds weird. I do want to get the Wi-Fi, and I've been saying this for fucking months. I got to get a car first before I get my Wi-Fi.
You know what? We'll name it. Well, we won't name it. We won't name it Two Strangers One Podcast Patreon. We'll name it Chris's Wi-Fi.
Chris's Wi-Fi fun. It's for a guy who does a fucking podcast, and as much as I'm interactive online, I do so much stuff online. I still haven't got my Wi-Fi, and I keep saying I'm gonna do it. Work is good. It's getting better. I was one account short of goal this month, and I'm fucking pissed off about that. And I should have gotten it, but I didn't. But I'm not going to complain. But
as long as you still have a job, that's
yeah, I still have a job. And then actually, and once again, we can't go into the details. Sorry, Oscar, but I had applied for another position in the company, and it's sort of like a backup plan, because right now the way things are going politically, who knows the way things are going with this particular part of the industry that I'm in.
Yeah, I know.
So I put in the paperwork to get transferred to another company. And I was already not accepted, but it was sort of like, okay, and I have to go through a whole new security clearance again. And all the funny things, all they did is they took my old papers, reprinted them. They said, here, sign in, put today's date on it. And so like when it comes to the security clearance, I already got security clearance for one. The other one shouldn't be any fucking different. And so,
not if they listen to this podcast.
Well, no, I'm not doing anything illegal. I'm immoral. I'm not illegal. But, that being said, it's sort of a backup plan. I mean, unless the fucking company goes belly up, which is not going to happen. But I'm just saying is that if things currently go the way they were in the current political climate, I will at least have some a parachute. And the whole thing is the way the company is, they're not going to fire people anyway. They would probably slowly transition them to the position that I'm going for. But at least I volunteered first. You know what I'm saying? Like,
is it more money?
It's sort of the same amount of money. It's a different commission system. If that it's not.
So you make more.
It's not commission. It's sort of hard to explain, but they base their commission more on customer service than actually hitting like a goal. So if no one complains, you get a bonus, which is and don't say that because Oscar will fucking keep calling and complaining. Like, you're not even.
You gave him your phone number.
You're not even a customer here. How could you make a complaint? Fire the fat guy. No. I don't know. Somebody commented. I don't know if that was your phone or just.
No, my phone gets a lot of notifications.
Okay. So, all right, let's see. Back to the news. And this is something that happened between the time we recorded the episode and the time the episode was released, but it did influence the intro to the show. Chris Cornell passed away. And, I'm not going to lie, I was like taken aback. But from what I'm reading online, and I may be wrong, and it's just a sad story that Chris Cornell obviously had a drug problem, during his heyday as a musician. Well, apparently he was on Ativan, which is sort of like I don't know if it's a narcotic, but I think it helps you kind of sleep and kind of chills you out. Well, that being said, I guess he was having a rough night and he had 2 Ativans. So, okay, unfortunately, right then and there, you're not listening to the doctor and you're taking double of what you're supposed to take. I think he was only supposed to take 1. And he even told his wife that, like, I think one of the last messages he sent her was like, I think I'm going to take a second one or whatever. One of the side effects of Ativan, and I've been on mental meds for the lack of a better term, is there is a suicide. There is thoughts of suicide that, it's funny, like, here's this medicine that will help fucking cure you of your depression, but you may want to fucking commit suicide.
Yeah.
And so he took an extra Ativan. I believe, and once again, if I'm wrong, forgive me, I believe that he was also drinking.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Christ.
So drinking and mental meds never fucking mix. And drinking and pretty much any med fucking doesn't mix. And then he technically took double the dosage, ended up killing himself.
So 1 + 1 = 2, basically.
Yeah, and and here's a guy, good looking, money, fame, fucking, I'm pretty sure, he was a married man, but I'm pretty sure women are trying to get into his hotel room. You know what I'm saying? Here's a guy who doesn't have to worry about getting pussy. Pussy's hot and cold pussy on tap. And you still fucking, if the fucking wiring isn't right up here, fucking killed himself. And it's really fucking tragic. And even though I wasn't a big fan of Soundgarden, I know obviously like Black Hole Sun and shit like that, I was more of a fan of
great song
of Audio Slave, which was him. It was him as the lead singer, and all the other musicians were the guys from Rage Against the Machine. And so, I really liked Audio Slave. I thought it was a really good band. They only put out like 2 albums, and it's a shame. But and then I could imagine like the guys in Rage Against the Machine, they're groupies. I'm pretty sure they got girls, but I'm pretty sure they got a lot of like potheads and stuff like that, like anti-government potheads. When they get with Chris Cornell's a good looking guy, I'm pretty sure the groupies started turning into like, big titty women, wanting to give blowjobs and stuff like that. So, okay. And speaking of medication, Tiger Woods. Did you see the video? Have you heard the audio?
I haven't heard the audio, but I heard that basically. So I don't remember what exactly happened, but I know that he basically just came out with it and said, "Look, I was on my medication. I took too much of it."
Yeah. So okay.
I'm sorry.
All right, we can laugh about it now only because thank God nobody fucking died.
Right.
Thank goodness Tiger Woods didn't hit anybody. Thank goodness Tiger Woods didn't fucking hit a tree and kill himself. But, okay, he's in his car. They don't know exactly when he started driving. He had 2 blown out fucking wheels from hitting I'm assuming hitting curbs and stuff like that. 2 blown out wheels. Then he's sitting at the red light. He was sitting at a red light and nodded out in the car. Now, luckily, his muscles still kept like his foot on the brake, but he could have easily, like even though maybe he stopped at a red light, he nodded out. What if his leg came off the brake while cars were coming on the cross, the intersection? So once again, it's funny now only because nobody got hurt. You know what I'm saying? But so the police officer pulls him over. And he goes, I want you to say the alphabet, but you're not going to sing it. He goes, I want you to say it non-rhythmically. Because I guess when you're drunk, you could kind of sing the alphabet, saying A, B, C, D, E. So the cop goes, can you repeat what I just said? Tiger Woods goes, you want me to sing the national anthem? He goes, I want you to say rhythmically, not sing it. And he goes, what did I just say? You want me to sing the national anthem? And if you heard his voice, it sounds like a guy that was drunk. Now, once again, don't quote me on this, and I could be wrong. I believe he might have been on Ambien.
Yeah, I think it was Ambien.
Ambien, and I've taken Ambien. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have a prescription for Ambien. And I got to tell you that, and I don't know if I ever spoke about this on the show, it's fucked up. Because, don't get me wrong, there was the lapse in judgment of getting behind the wheel. But when you're on Ambien, you black out, and your body goes into fucking... If you're on Ambien, especially on an empty stomach, and this is something I've noticed, you can, and I have, done things that you don't fucking remember. So he could have. So once again, I understand. Once again, thank God no one got hurt. But his judgment was so impaired by the fucking drug. And once again, and I get like a 10 milligram. Like, that's like nothing. And if you take it on an empty stomach, you black out. Now, luckily, most people, 99% of the time, you black out. You're in your bed. Sometimes you black out and you do shit. I've made food. Like, I swear to God, I woke up one day and it was 3 fucking bowls of cereal. And this was when I still lived in Jersey. I fell asleep on my couch, and on my coffee table I had 3 bowls of fucking cereal. I've gotten on the phone and I've spoken to like female friends of mine where like I'm making like a dirty phone call, and saying like it'll be a girl that I'm kind of like into, and I've called them and now luckily those girls understood what was going on and forgave me. But and I'm not, I mean, it's like a joke. I woke up having sex, if that makes any sense. I started to have sex on Ambien, and then when I woke up, when I kind of like realized what was going on, I was in the middle of it, and it sounds funny, and I know I say a lot of outlandish shit, but this is a true fucking story where I woke up and I was like, what the fuck is going on? I mean, not that I'm complaining, but we were fooling around. So, Ambien, and once again, thank goodness no one got hurt, but, Tiger Woods, you can't, his judgment was impaired, but, it's impaired. I mean, you black out. And once again, so if if anybody out there, if you take an Ambien, don't fucking take it on an empty stomach, because that's when the bad shit happens, and it's funny, I'm so anti-drug, and I'm anti-marijuana, and I'm anti-crack, and cocaine, and heroin, all that bullshit. But, if there is a prescription medication I take, is Ambien, and that shit on the wrong night can be fucking dangerous. Speaking of medicine, went for my yearly checkup. No diabetes, no STDs. But then again, how could you catch an STD if you're not fucking anybody?
That would be hilarious, though.
That's the best way to not catch an STD. Don't fuck anybody. But no STDs, no diabetes. I'm still a fat fuck. I've put on like 30 pounds since I started this job. Just because I'm sitting in front of a computer all day, and these fucking people bring food for everything. Like, we're having a meeting and there's food. The whole office is having a monthly meeting. There's food. Literally, like the other day, we're gonna talk to you about your 401k. There's food. Like retiring. Every someone breathes. Someone's birthday. Oh, we brought a cake. We got pizza. So I've put on 30 pounds since I started this job.
You need to stop eating.
I need to chill the fuck out. I need to get on a bike and start exercising.
You need to walk to and from work.
Oh my god, I fucking die. I had to walk to and from work.
I would literally drive slowly right next to you and be like, "Oh, how you doing? How you doing there, Chris?"
I'd get home, take a shower, and just turn right back around.
What would you do if I drove right next to you and then put a stick out with a Twinkie?
I chase after you like the cop in Terminator, like.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, and I know Oscar calls me a fat bastard, but yes, I'm a fat bastard, but I'm a healthy fat bastard. Like for the time being, my blood pressure is good. My heart rate is a little high, but could, not bad. My triglycerides and all that other shit. So
don't use big words.
I need to get, don't be wrong. I obviously have to start fucking exercising and I need to stop eating so much junk. But for the lack of a better term, I'm not dying. All right. Kids are fucking horrible. Kids are the fucking worst. Let me tell you, people who follow me on Facebook, they know that, I have a daughter and she's the love of my life. And actually, no, I'm not talking about her. My daughter had a field trip the other day. And so the teacher says, because what happened was they had a field trip to like the zoo like 2 weeks ago. Yeah. And I wanted to go. I wanted to go to the zoo. So, but he's like, no, don't worry. We have enough volunteers. Then he goes, well, if you want to volunteer, we're going down by what they call the beach around here. It's not the beach. It's a lake actually. But he goes, we're doing a thing by the beach. And we could use as many chaperones as we can. So I said, all right. And it's this thing. It's for the Rochester City kids. And it's like, get fit and healthy and play every, 30 minutes a day bullshit, So, we're going or whatever. And then the teacher goes, all right, 1, 2, 3, you go with Mr. Cologne. 1, 2, 3, you go to this parent. The teacher split the kids up amongst the parents and then said, go. And so I'm stuck with these fucking kids that aren't mine, that now I'm responsible for, and let me tell you, and then being on the school bus and stuff like that. First and foremost, kids are fucking horrible. Kids are the fucking worst. Oh, hey, Darrell's on. If someone says, oh, okay, no, okay. Kids are the fucking worst. And then don't even get me started on the fucking names, because my daughter, okay, it's a good school and it's not in a bad neighborhood, but it's surrounded by bad neighborhoods. It's not, well, all I'm saying is when you got Darion and Trayvon and in all fairness, one of her friends, whenever there was a little white girl, was Tallulah,
That's not a white girl, that's Latina.
Tallulah, that's like a southern name. But it's like, the names were fucking ridiculous. Davion.
Who the fuck names their kid Tallulah?
Cameron.
Tallulah, come here.
And so the names, and look, this is from a guy who called his kids Raven. You know what I'm saying? And spells it like a fucking retarded way. Now, mind you, when I named my daughter, and I want this for the record, when the mother suggested the name, I said it's a beautiful name. When the mother suggested the spelling, I said I'm not on fucking board. But my daughter now is forever stuck with a beautiful name that's spelled fucking retarded. But these kids were like getting into fights and saying nasty things about each other. But then again, people are fucking horrible. You know what I'm saying? Kids just don't have a filter.
Yeah.
So,
well, these parents just drop these kids off and go, here.
Well, no, let me tell you. And then the fucking school teacher, this cocksucker, we get to the park, whatever, and we got to the park, okay, give the kids hot dogs, give them chocolate chip cookies, give them water, bottled water. And they're like, okay, now go play. And now I'm responsible for these 3 or 4 kids and my daughter, and it's like trying to herd cats, you know what I'm saying? You get 2 together, the third one walks away.
Yeah.
No, come over here, and then they want to get their face painted, but the line's too long, so I'm trying to hold the space. But then the kids, and then, that the scariest feeling in the world when you look around, you don't see the kid, so. And they don't fucking know who I am. I mean, thank goodness I think I'm a halfway decent human being. But, to see, you're trusting your kid with me, God knows. I leave with 3, I'll come back with 2. So then they go, oh, go to the carousel. Because this is Ontario Beach and there's an old carousel there. Yeah. Well, since the whole school district shows up to the place, the carousel line's ridiculous. So we don't know what to do, so we start walking back. The fucking teacher, this cocksucker, is sitting in a fucking lawn chair, just chilling. He passed off all the kids to the parents, and he's sitting there. And he's quote unquote watching the equipment, that cocksucker. So this motherfucker's sitting here. But so we had the kids, and I'm trying my best so they don't kill each other. And then they say and now it shows you the last episode we talked about the rising tides. The tides are so bad, there is no beach anymore. Yeah. It's literally the boardwalk, about 3 feet, water for a couple of feet, then another little spot of land, and then the shore. where I mean, I've been coming up to Rochester. I started coming up to Rochester in about 2009. In 2009, it was about the average size of a beach. I mean, I don't know how long you would say it is, but
Basically,
a couple of 100 feet. You know what I'm saying? Like not a football field, maybe half a football field, 50 yards. I don't know, where once you stepped off the boardwalk onto the actual sand, you can probably walk for like 5 minutes without hitting the water. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, a big empty space for families to put up their beaches. The tides have risen so bad, it's literally the boardwalk, 3 feet of sand, water, and then a little patch of water. And it's fucking depressing. And then they tell us, don't let the kids go on the beach. Well, you brought us to the fucking beach. What do the kids want to do? They want to go on the beach. So I'm trying to, we're all walking on the boardwalk. The kids are fucking trying to, get in the sand. And like, everyone else is trying to like, no, don't let the kids go. And I'm like, just fucking do whatever you're going to do. Walk in the sand, go walk in the sand. Get your sandals, your shoes dirty on, just don't die, and then they're putting their hands in the filthy water or stuff like that, So, I mean, I tried my best to keep these kids alive. Thank goodness they were alive when I brought them back.
Well, you're not in jail, so there's the thing.
Yeah, kids are not yet. No, the kids are fucking horrible. Now, I think with that, we'll be back with more dick and fart jokes.
Hopefully.
And we're back. All right, Paul. Let's see what else. We'll get to the nerdy news in just a little bit. I just wanted to kind of split the show as we usually do. I guess I don't know. I arranged for a date. Well, you would know this more than I would. The day I went to go see Wonder Woman, which I'll get to in a moment, and how horrible that movie was.
The opinions of Chris Cologne do not necessarily.
It's like the #1 movie in America, and I'm about to fucking bash this.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm not bashing it to be like, oh, I'm that guy, I'm so edgy, I'm gonna bash the #1 movie. We'll get to that.
You know why he's bashing it? Because Batman vs Superman didn't do well.
Yeah, because I'm a horrible, evil misogynist that hates women. But no, that being said,
well, that's a good thing.
that's a soundbite. Someone's gonna download that. So
Darrell probably will.
A friend of a friend of a friend. I'm talking to someone right now. But okay, the last minute, I literally asked her out like the last minute. Like it was like 9 o'clock. Like on Facebook, I'm like, I'm going out tonight to see Wonder Woman. Then she's like, oh, So then I'm like, all right, come out. And of course, a woman's gonna fuck it. They're not gonna just come out the last minute. They're gonna fucking go and do everything they have to do. So it was so that night. All right, that's on me. It's asking someone out at the last minute, which is something I kind of am, but then again, I'm a slob, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'll just come. Darrell commented something.
I don't want to know what he said.
Oh shit, you mean this motherfucker doing a podcast tonight? Yes, I guess. I don't know, whatever plans fucking Paul has with you outside this, I don't know. But
don't worry, we'll have some fun later, Darrell.
So we plan to go out on a date on Saturday, and I got stood up, for lack of a better term. And I guess this one of the beauties of this podcast is I can record stuff like this. Now, that being said, I wanted to go out to Buffalo and go see Kevin Smith. Now, of course, that's an odd thing for a first date, where it's like, I'm not going to take a total stranger, here, drive with me for an hour to see a guy, and she's familiar with Kevin Smith. She likes his work. But that would have been an odd first date, like to get in a car with someone and drive an hour away and then an hour back, the hour away.
That's going to be really odd if we go to New York Comic Con together.
She's going to be like those kids buried at the beach. No,
I'll pretend I didn't hear that.
Yeah, but she goes, oh, she follows local comedy, and this guy's playing out in a place out in Webster called the Comedy Club. This guy's playing Ralph Tedda. I really want to go see him. So I'm like, all right, I'll meet you there or whatever. I go, and as look, I could just keep it real with the podcast. I go, she doesn't show up. And right now we're still at that point where we're still talking on Facebook Messenger. Like I don't even have her phone number, but I'm on, it's the modern day or whatever. So then I send her a couple Facebook messages, no response. So I see the show. I'm there. You know what I'm saying? $15, 3 comedians. It was like almost like an hour and 45-minute show. It's pretty funny, had chicken wings and French fries. And then the comedy club is actually connected to another bar/restaurant called AJ's. And there was a band called Guy Smiley playing. And they're sort of like, they say classic rock, but it's It was like songs from the 90s, songs from the early 2000s, mostly stuff that, like, I hate to say it, it's like hard rock, but songs that girls would like, I guess would be the best way to put it. They were really good. I mean, I guess if you're local, if you ever hear about the band Guy Smiley, go see them. They're not hard rock, but, you know, they play music that's loud and guitar driven, but more songs that girls would like. So then, you know, that was, you know, I thought I was supposed to have a date on Saturday. We had spoken the next day, and she kind of explained to me what had happened, and, you know, I mean, she could be feeding me a bullshit line, but, you know, she kind of apologized for not being able to come out, and she was sick, and all this other kind of thing, and I'm like, all right, so who knows, this could be a thing, could not be a thing, it's just sort of, you know, I was supposed to have a date, so at least I'm trying things, people, so, you know.
We'll give you an A for effort.
Yeah. So, all right, let's see. All right. Do you think you could tell if a girl is attractive from behind? Like, have you ever looked? I mean, because I think, and I kind of get thrown off sometimes. And once again, I guess attractive is a relative term, and I guess I tend to like black, straight, long hair. But, you know, like if I see someone from behind and they kind of have like black, straight, long hair, I sort of like, that throws me off. Right. And don't get me wrong, you know, I've been attracted to Asian women, but sometimes, like, you know, the girl will turn around and she'll have like a horrendous fucking face, and you're like, you know, like, ooh, you know, or you'll have someone with fake hair. What do you say? Darrell said.
No,
fake.
he texted me.
Oh, he texted you. Okay.
That little bastard doesn't know that my phone's being used right now.
as we're live streaming, we're using Paul's phone, but like notifications are popping up.
Because my phone's better.
So sometimes you'll see a girl with a weave,
yeah,
and from behind the weave is all nice and pretty, and then you look, then she'll turn around or some, you know, whatever. Sometimes you'll be driving, you see a girl like from behind, she looks attractive, and then you see that face, you're like, oh no,
you're like beast mode.
So I was sort of like, I want to have I said I wanted that. Of course, if we had like a Howard Stern like show where we had money and we got people guests and stuff like that, I wanted to see if you could tell if someone was attractive from behind. So butterfaces, you would have hot chicks and butterfaces. And then I said, you know what? Let's not use hot chicks. Let's use guys who dress up like chicks. Because, you know, sometimes transvestites from behind, if you're not paying attention to whatever, like, they really work hard to pass off as a woman. So I was like, what if you had trannies versus butterfaces?
Here's the thing.
But you couldn't see the face.
So you don't know if it's this is what you don't understand. Like, I would automatically, the first thing I would say is, they're probably all men, because this motherfucker did that shit. And by the way, if there is a woman right there, I am sorry, but it's Chris's fault, not mine.
Well, that's I mean, the funny thing is, I mean, if you had the level of Howard Stern, you would have women, like, you could say, we're looking for butterfaces, and
I will never have that level.
And women would call in the show. Imagine going to someone and saying, we're having a contest called Trannies versus Butterfaces. She'd slap you right in the fucking mouth.
Where did this come from?
Well, no, because I've always had a theory that you can tell a girl if it's attractive from behind. But now, that being said, there are people out there, you don't can't beauty or whatever. But come on, let's be real here. You see a girl with yoga pants and a nice butt, and, you know, look, let's go with the traditional good look. They're thin, they have straight hair. And now then, some guys don't like straight hair, some guys like curly hair. But I'm saying, she has straight hair, she's wearing, you know, you could tell from the yoga pants, she has a nice body.
Well,
you know, I mean, don't get me wrong, she may be a high maintenance pain in the ass, but she's hot.
Well, first of all, at my wonderful age, by the way, you smell, cat. At my wonderful age, I'm not really attracted to, like, the quote unquote hot model chick. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, it's nice to look at, and yeah, great, wonderful, but I'm not like into that, because most of them look like I could break them just by touching them. And I'm not even talking sexually. I could just be like that, and then boom, they're broken. Like, I'm like, here, eat some chicken. Here, take some money and go to KFC and eat. You know, That's what I'm like. So, I mean, I guess as an Italian man, I look at the ass first, and then I go from there. Mm-hmm. But I'm more or less like. I have to see the whole package before I say the whole thing.
But I mean, like, and I hate to say this, and look, I understand this is coming from a fucking fat, ugly motherfucker. I know you could before you say it. I understand. This is coming from a fat, ugly motherfucker. But Like good-looking girls tend to take better care of themselves, tend to, keep a better wardrobe, And don't get me wrong, then you see on the flip side where there's girls, you'll see a girl who's a butterface and everything's good but her face. But, for those who don't know what that means, a butterface where, they hit the gym and they work out and, they do everything and they stay fit and they keep their hair nice, but it's not their fault that they look like fucking Mr. Ed. It's not their fault.
Well, and
it's not their fault they're cross-eyed and they got a crooked nose and a fucking chin that points out like fucking...
You also have to take in consideration, too, that people here in Rochester are not the best women that you can find in this nation. I can tell you that right now.
Look, I grew up in New York City with some of the most beautiful women in the world, walk the streets. I mean, you go on a subway and you'd see girls that are model quality. And that's the whole thing, is like you'd be from behind and like, girl's got a nice ass. And I'm not an ass guy, but she dresses well, she's wearing tight jeans, showing off her body.
Yeah. Obviously, like if I see that's kind of like what the like when I was in the dating scene, like that was kind of like the big like the thing for me is I could see a picture of you online all I want until I see you in person. I don't know what the fuck you look like, and I'm gonna be honest with you, like. Sometimes there was one chick that I dated that was I don't know what the fuck was wrong with me, but we had like this kind of personal connection. So I was kind of like, all right, well let's see where this goes, because when you get that connection where you can be like smart asses with each other and everything like that, you're kind of like, okay, let's see where this goes. But normally I'm like, I'm just like, okay, yeah, you're beautiful, but let's see what comes out of your mouth next.
Yeah.
Let's see what comes out of your mouth.
Again, I mean, because you're talking about dating sites, I'm talking about just straight,
but it's
unadulterated.
It's the whole thing.
Looking at women as objects.
It's the whole thing, though. That's what I'm saying.
Well, no, what I'm saying is, you're talking about dating. I'm talking about if a girl's pretty from behind.
But that's what I'm saying to you is, it's the same thing like on a dating site. You're not going to go... You're the first girl that you're going to talk to is the hot ones because you want to see if you even have a chance. Mm-hmm. That being said, if the profile has like a list of requirements on what you need to be to date, obviously you're not going to talk to them. Because I used to see that stuff. So that's how I'm relating this back to that, because it's kind of the same thing, because, even if you saw these women in person, which... So
you're saying like a pretty girl, if she has a bad attitude, it makes her ugly now? She's a...
I think any woman
but her personality. Everything is good, but her personality.
I think any woman that tries to that has like a laundry list of stuff. Your teeth have to be straight. Your teeth have to be white. You have to have tattoos or something. When you start naming off things that you need to have on your fucking list, get the fuck out of my face.
Gotcha.
Like I don't deal with that shit. Like.
Well, obviously, Paul has some story in his past. This is all related to one particular.
I have a bunch of stories that I could talk about. The one ex, I already destroyed her on this podcast 50 times, so I don't need to do that. But what I'm saying is like, for me, I put the ring on a girl that has the total package. Why the fuck do I need anything else?
Yeah,
that's the thing. Like, for me,
now you're gonna get
yes. Do I look at what you look like first? Yes. But when I get to know you, I want to get to know you first too, before I sit there and make a final decision. Like, this is not like, okay, you look good, let's go fuck in the back seat. No. This is, you look good, let me actually see if you're worth my time, and then we'll go on. And then I want to see if you're the total package. Because you know what? I'm 32, about to be 33 years old. I don't want to fucking deal with that shit anymore. That's why I got to put a ring on this girl's finger. Because guess what?
Paul had to go and make it all romantic and shit. I'm talking about...
I'm just saying! What? I'm being honest.
What I'm just saying is, like, you're driving down the street and you see a girl from behind you, like, man, she's hot. And then you keep pulling, you keep driving, and then you kind of turn and you see her face and you're like, oh! You know what I'm saying? Like... like some girls that have like a fantastic body, and you're like, oh,
you're like, look, oh god, it's beast mode.
I know that's coming from a guy that looks like a fucking 10-pound, 15 pounds of shit in a 10-pound bag. I understand.
This episode of Two Strangers One Podcast is brought to you by Comics Etc. 1115 East Main and North Goodman at the Hungerford Building, door number 8. Find out more information at comicsetc.biz or like them on Facebook at facebook.com/comicsetc1.
Did you ever see a film at such a young age it left you traumatized with cinematic wounds? necrophilia. It's a dead issue, man. Don't push it. Cinema Psyops is a weekly podcast documenting an ongoing experiment on the mind of an unwilling test subject.
No one should have to watch this movie.
Oh, no one should have to watch this?
No one should have to watch this movie.
Surprisingly, it's not a topic that a lot of people really want to tackle.
I'm shocked, prudes.
I know, really.
Right?
It's the next sexual frontier that no one wants to explore.
I am, in the most sincerest of senses, disappointed in you.
It takes a powerful goddess like Connie, jam her arm down the monster's throat and kill it. Oh, I'm still tripping out over that. Even as a kid, I was like, I gotta find a girl like that. Every week, I get a new look of disappointment that I never thought I could get out of her.
Unimaginable. At 12 years old, you should not be watching this movie.
Obviously.
At 13, you should not be. 14, you shouldn't be. I'm not entirely sure even 17-year-olds should be watching this.
Just because you're offended by something doesn't mean that you have the right to demand that it doesn't exist. Watching this film again, I had all of this like little nerd glee with everything that kept
little
popping
history
up.
all popping up
absolutely.
at you.
So I totally loved this film.
Hey, I know why you couldn't see that. It's because your brain's warped from watching this shit at 12 years old.
Yeah, this is a rough movie. I told you ahead of time when we were getting ready to do it that it was going to be a rough
How could you watch
one.
this shit at 12?
Because physical wounds heal, cinematic ones don't. Listen to Cinema Psyops.
Click and Hit, enhancing the experience for all recreational smokers. Click and Hit is a one-handed portable vaporizer. This smoking pipe has a compact 4-stage design, complete with a built-in, windproof, butane refillable torch lighter. The large burn chamber holds your stash of legal herb or pipe tobacco. Click the button to ignite and inhale as usual. When you are done, put it back in your pocket for later. Smoke anytime with the touch of a button. No more carrying around grinders and tins. You can leave the pipe, rolling papers, and even your lighter at home. The Click and Hit cordless vaporizer is no bigger than a normal cigar, making it the world's smallest and most discreet vaporizer. It's perfect for use in small places or shared rooms. It's efficient, getting 5 to 8 draws from your packed chamber. It's affordable at just $19.95 each. Buy 3 and the shipping is free. Buy 4 and you get the 5th one free. Visit www.click-hit.com. That's clickandhit.com. And now for listeners of Two Strangers One Podcast, you can use promo code STRANGERS and receive 10% off your purchase at clickandhit.com. That's promo code STRANGERs for 10% off your purchase.
So let's get to your Wonder Woman review,
all right,
and
so,
then we'll get the hell out of here.
We'll skip all the political talk. We'll skip the
We'll save that
Kathy
for another
Griffin.
podcast.
We'll skip the Covfefe. We'll skip the Paris Accords. We'll skip President Trump pushing the Balkan King out of the way.
Yeah,
just
they
so
probably have heard enough.
That's been discussed to death, but just for the record, it was on my notes. But let's get to something that I've been chomping at the bit at about, and generally
Don't spoil it.
Oh no, there's going to be spoilers. So
well, fuck you.
There's going to be spoilers. I don't know. So what? You haven't seen it? You generally don't care if I spoil a movie, but
it's fine. I mean, I generally got the idea of the whole Wonder Woman story.
So there, for those people listening to the podcast, if you haven't seen it, if you aren't one of the hundreds of millions of people who've gone running out to see this wonderful, groundbreaking. What's the word? An achievement for all womankind. If you're not one of those people this weekend, you may want to stop the podcast right now, go see it, and then come back and be as fucking disappointed as I was, and come back and listen to the second half of this podcast, because they're going to be spoilers. Now, that being said, let's get into this fucking movie. Okay, yes, we had the Batman v Superman. All right, we got the DC Universe. We got Man of Steel, was kind of fucking weak. Then we got Batman v Superman, which the theatrical version sucked balls. The director's cut kind of actually started to fucking make sense. But even when you had the director's cut, it's a 3-hour fucking movie where they mashed in, the Dark Knight Returns versus, then they kind of mashed in the death of Superman. You had this fucking stupid ass fucking Lex Luthor, who I actually liked, but I understand the whole point that you got this stupid fucking Lex Luthor that, that it's not even Lex Luthor, it's Lex Luthor Jr.
Where's my popcorn?
Based on fucking Max Landis, because Max Landis is a little fucking twerpy bastard. Then you got the, Doomsday that looks like a fucking Ninja Turtle, and then Doomsday, whose main characteristic is spikes coming out of him, where maybe he had a couple of bumps sticking out of him, didn't look anything like the character. You know, it looked like a fucking Ninja Turtle. You know, then, you know, the movie itself was just a trailer for Justice League anyway, because, you know, they show these little bits of Aquaman and the Flash and Wonder Woman. Ooh, what's with this fucking picture? It's a fucking picture. What's so fucking secretive about it? You could take a picture of a picture. You know, someone shares a picture online, it's outlined forever. So, you know, she's like, oh, I have to get the original back. You know, saying, you know, once a picture exists, all it takes is to be online for 2 seconds and it's spread throughout the fucking world.
Right.
That being said, okay, and then what? Okay, then they try to go and then they gave us Suicide Squad, and everyone was so happy because fucking Harley Quinn is in. And now understand, I'm gonna bash it. I like DC movies. I like the DC extended universe. They suck, but I like them. And if I'm gonna say, and I can say this right now, my favorite so far is still Suicide Squad. And I understand that people hated the fucking movie, and Suicide Squad had fucking the Clays from fucking from Power Rangers. You know, it was like these generic fucking bad guys that look like potato heads. And the end of the movie was stupid laser shooting in the sky again for the 15,000th fucking movie. You know, yes, we got to see fucking Margot Robbie in tight shorts, being the character that we've been wanting to see from fucking forever. But okay,
are you now to the point now?
So you got Batman v Superman, and then what do? They fucking finally have Batman v Superman. Then they fucking bring in Wonder Woman, who I can honestly say, as much as I liked Batman v Superman, Wonder Woman stole the movie.
Yeah.
There's not one scene that she's in that she's not totally. She was the best part of the movie. I have absolutely no problem with Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. They made her look good. Oh wait, who? Someone?
No, that was on on a different chat.
All right, gotcha. So okay. So they chose Gal Gadot, and it's funny because I remember, like, I think we were already doing the show when they announced Gal Gadot, and like I even like my artwork for that particular episode was like I took a picture of Gal Gadot or Gal Gadot, excuse me, because I guess that's the proper way to say it, Gal Gadot, and I photoshopped like a very bad Wonder Woman outfit on her, and of course that's when she was a lot thinner. She didn't put meat on her bones, but you know she's been working out. She was very, very fit, very lean, and whatever you want to say. I have no problem with the casting of Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. She looks fantastic. The armor looks cool. You know, her with the swords. They got the shield could be a little more badass. I'm surprised they didn't do more with the shield. You know, the sword is sort of part of the movie, but that's spoilers. But then again, it's a stupid spoiler, so it's not really worth spoiling. You know, she's got the bracelets where she could stop bullets, so it's basically like the way the Jedis stop fucking blasters with their lightsabers.
Right.
You know, the tiara looks okay. But then again, in the movie, when they hand her the tiara has these two parts that come down like a warrior. And now magically in the movie, when she pulls out the tiara, now it doesn't have the side parts. It's just the tiara. It's just a tiara. Like now obviously because the character herself started with a tiara, but at least when they gave her the ones with the side parts that came down over her face, that's sort of a strategic thing. If someone hits you on the side of the face, your side of the face, you're protected. What the fuck is a tiara gonna do? Not even the top of your head is covered. Unless someone punches you right in the forehead, a tiara's not gonna fucking do anything. And it's not magical. It doesn't have any extra powers. It doesn't have a force field coming out of it or something like that. So let me see. What can I say? All right. So let's start from, I'm not going to go into the whole big deal. Well, first and foremost, before the movie even starts, they have a new DC logo. You see Batman, you see Superman, you see Wonder Woman, you see the Flash, you see Aquaman, and, spoilers, Green fucking Lantern. Now, that being said, this could be just a generic DC logo where...
It's like the Marvel one.
It's like the Marvel one, but this is the logo that they're putting before a movie. So I think they kind of just gave us the big giant, like, green light that Green Lantern is going to be in the movie. Or eventually going to be brought into this extended universe. Because why would they do that? Why would they show every other character and then Green Lantern and then okay, no, forget about it. No, we're not going to have a Green Lantern movie. Oh, he's in the logo, but he's not going to be in the movie. So that's like the first bit. You know, it was really cool seeing Themyscira. You know, it was cool. You know, like I read an article like, you know, they're Amazons and they have crow's feet and you know, they're not all size 1 models or size 0 models and they weren't all rail thin and, you know, they look like powerful women. And I'll give you that, you know, the island looked beautiful, the CGI of how it looked. I mean, you know, it looked like a livable world where these people lived and, you know, hidden from, you know, mankind. And Chris Pine, I got no problem with Chris Pine. He's a handsome guy, very charming. If I was gay, I'd fuck him. He's charming or whatever. He's Captain Kirk. I think this movie does more for him than the Star Trek movies, like showing him being him. Star Trek, I guess, since he has to share the screen with so many other people, I liked him more in this movie than I did in all. And I liked the first Star Trek. I liked the third one, but I think I liked Chris Pine more as an actor in Wonder Woman. Maybe because he had more screen time. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe because he didn't have to share it with somebody. Where Star Trek, you have to focus equally on everybody. Now here it's just him and Gal Gadot, and of course all the extra characters. But the movie kind of begins. It's sort of a he's the fish out of the water. There's these women that have been living the same way for thousands of years, and they've never seen a man before, or they're aware of man, but they, one hasn't been in their presence, and and you kind of got, they kind of got this weird, it's like Greek mythology, but sort of changed up to help the story go along and stuff like that. So, so now he's the fish out of water, and then. It's supposed to be World War One. I kind of, once again, I wished they would have went with the whole, which they kind of did, but they didn't. Once again, it's kind of a spoiler. I mean, I wanted the movie to be like, okay, the First World War is happening because, Ares, god of war, who's been a character in the comics since the beginning, he's getting his power from this, since now it's the First World War, and people are fighting, he gets his power from people, as long as there's war on the planet, he has a source of power. Now here's First World. So now he's getting to the point where they're going to have to put him in check because he's getting so powerful. Like he's incited the war. That's not the case in this movie. It's sort of because since Diana is raised on the island, she's very innocent of the ways of the world. And she's like, oh, if we kill the god of war, then this war is going to end. There's Ares, he's the god of war. They kind of hint that he's getting power from the war, but they didn't really push it that hard. And, so she's like, basically, it's the Great War. I mean, back then it was World War One. They didn't know it was World War One. They just called it the big one or the World War, the Great One, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. So I thought, okay, it would be when, so then, okay, people, here we go. Now we're going to talk super spoilers. Okay, the bad guy is not the bad guy who you think it is. They keep pushing towards they use the Germans, since the Germans were the bad guys also in World War One, as they were in World War Two. They have this bad guy, and he's working with Dr. Poison, and who's this woman who has obviously I think her face at one point was melted off from one of her experiments, so she has a prosthetic mouth and jaw on her face, and that was pretty cool looking. I didn't mind her being kind of like the bad guy, she's providing all these poisons to the Germans, and they're looking for a poison that's it's gonna melt. If you're gonna wear a gas mask, it'll melt the gas mask off your face and kill you, and and it's flammable and kill people instantly, and you shoot into you shoot a canister of it into a town, it's going to kill the whole town. I liked her. I even liked the guy they want you to think is Ares. He's kind of but part of, and that's why it was confusing. What was confusing is Dr. Poison gives him this stuff, she gives him not a poison, but she gives him a serum that he sniffs, and then he becomes super powerful, where he can fight Wonder Woman. But, so I'm like, why the fuck would the god of war need to sniff super cocaine, to fucking fight Wonder Woman? Right. I'm like, and then, once again, I've already spoiled it this much. It turns out it was the guy that was sort of part of the British Parliament, and in the movie he's portrayed as this little weak punk motherfucker who doesn't want to stand up to the Germans. But then you realize, he doesn't want to stand up to the Germans because it helps the war continue. Him not having powers. So it's this guy, and hopefully you'll get this reference. Do you ever see the cartoon The Wild Thornberrys?
Yeah.
It's a guy who looks like the father from The Wild Thornberrys, big nose, goofy mustache. All right, so that being said, he's Ares. He's the bad guy. But what he does is, I guess in this form, he makes himself look like a feeble old guy, like a skinny old guy who literally walks with a cane and stuff like that. He's Ares. So then when he transforms to Ares, my final form, my true form, he's this big muscular dude with the fucking guy's face, with the Wild Thornberrys guy. You would think they would change his face. I mean, I guess that would be confusing for audiences, but he has this goofy fucking face, and then he's a big muscular guy. The CGI, And then, I guess to kind of hide it, then, he pulls all this metal out of the ground, like from like destroyed tanks or whatever, and builds armor. And then he has the more traditional Ares helmet, where luckily you won't see his goofy, skinny Wild Thornberry's face.
Right.
And so, the best parts of the movie were in the commercials. The trailers spoil this movie. I think I would have liked this movie a lot more if I didn't see any of the trailers. But of course, nowadays there's 25 fucking minutes of commercials before the fucking movies, there's at least 15 minutes, because I go to the movies, people. I mean, we started this whole episode as I talk about how I go to the movies, and I've noticed there's at least 15 minutes of trailers, and in some places there's 25 fucking minutes of trailers before the fucking movie. So, no rush to get to the theater, people, because there's going to be at least 15 minutes of commercials. And, so even if I go, okay, I'm going to avoid trailers on YouTube and I'm not going to click every fucking link, new
The reason
footage.
why there's 25 minutes of trailers, by the way, is because there's so many big movies coming out this summer. Don't ask me why it has to be 25 minutes, but that's...
But, I mean, it's like I'm already paying fucking $10 for a fucking ticket. And don't be wrong, I like trailers. I love trailers. I really do. But or at least, what movies, people who make movies, stop putting all the best parts in the trailer.
Right.
Or save, because the one thing they didn't show us was Ares. And you know what? Ares was fucking boring. And you know what it was? Also, this whole movie, the first part of the movie was interesting and good and fun and looked like everything that the trailers had. And then you get to the final act where they're fighting fucking Ares, and it looks like a Zack Snyder movie. It looks like Batman v Superman. All of a sudden, the movie gets all dark, and she's fighting him, and he's using lightning, and she's deflecting the lightning with her gauntlets and shit like that, or her bracelets, or whatever the fuck you want to call them. And it looks like a Zack Snyder movie.
Oh,
it gets dark, and I'm like, really? Did you really have to make the ending for the rest of this movie that they show how light and wonderful and everything it is? Did you really have to make the ending, like a Zack Snyder movie? It looks like the end of Suicide Squad. It looks like the end of Batman v Superman. And I understand that this is part of that universe, and yes, it's stuff like that's bound to happen. But Jesus Christ, the movie almost shifts. When it goes to the end, it's like, I don't know, did Zack Snyder tell them how to make the ending or something like that? I don't know, and I don't know if we mentioned this I don't know if we mentioned in the last podcast that Zack Snyder's...
We did.
He left
did.
Justice...
Yeah. I think we did, but...
Justice League.
No, we didn't. We mentioned... what's his name doing the Batman movie, but yeah, we should. We can mention that.
So I mean, and I'll be by the time, because Paul doesn't want to fucking record because he'd rather be with his family. That Zack Snyder, and this is old news, but just for the record, Zack Snyder's daughter committed suicide, passed away.
This was months ago.
Happened 2 months ago. They kept their mouth shut about it. And from what I understand, she was a good girl. She was involved in charities, all this other stuff. And so the movie studio took a break. They said, take a break, do what you got to do. And they even, from what I understand, from what I heard, they even offered and said, look, we'll push Justice League back to fucking October. Take what, or November, take the time you need. And when you come back, then we'll do all the reshoots and everything like that. Zack Snyder said, he took the break. And I think when it was time to come back, he said, look, I lost my daughter. I ain't coming back. You know what I'm saying? I got to be with my family. So they already had Joss Whedon, warming up in the bullpen, but because Joss Whedon was getting ready to do his Batgirl movie, or at least, he's in production or whatever. And so they said, look, here's a guy who gave us 2 fucking Avengers movies, let's give him the fucking DC franchise. And at the very least, if someone's going to take the fucking mantle of doing a Justice League movie, give it to Joss Whedon. Even though I didn't like Age of Ultron, I could kind of understand the idea. Powerhouse director, powerhouse movie franchise. And then, if I understand correctly, he kind of has stated, this isn't going to be a Joss Whedon movie. Right. I'm going to stick to Zack Snyder's vision. So I'm going to make it shitty, I guess is the... Don't worry, I'm not going to put anything new or original or bright in this movie. We'll keep it as shitty as Zack Snyder wanted it. And much respect to the Snyder family and their past daughter. But so... he's kind of stepped in to do it, which makes sense. There's no post-credit scene, so don't stick around. Let the people come in the theater and sweep up the floor, which I didn't do. The 2009 animated movie was good. I really liked the DC. Of course, I like all the DC animated movies, or the ones that I've seen, because Paul doesn't let me borrow the DVDs. I haven't seen any of the current. Well, no, I did. No, I saw the Teen Titans Judas Contract, which was good. Yes, not fantastic, but good.
It was a solid movie.
That being said, there's a joke in that movie And maybe this might have been a joke that was in the comics that I missed. You know, then not that I follow Wonder Woman, where she eats ice cream, and of course she's isolated. She hasn't been out in the world. She eats ice cream, and it's the most orgasmic, beautiful thing because she's never had anything like that before. And in the animated movie, it's so much done better. Where she eats it, she's like, "Oh my god, this is ambrosia! You know, this is gifts from the gods!" You know, and then in the movie, like, she eats it, she gets a little excited, and then, like, she tells, like, the vendor, like, "You should be so proud," because she's naive enough to think that, like, that guy, that's the only person in the world who makes ice cream or whatever. And, like, that could have been such a bigger, better scene. It was better in the animated movie. And she's like, "Oh, your parents should be so proud." It's, you know, once again, that shows an opportunity that could have been funny, because we've seen it done before, and it failed. It failed. And I don't want to say this movie wasn't bad. It's a good movie, but it wasn't a great movie. And everyone right now is fucking doing cartwheels up and down the fucking stairs, talking about how wonderful this fucking movie is.
I will eventually see it, so we'll find out how good or bad it is.
You know, and I don't want to. And the whole thing is, I haven't posted about it on Facebook because I don't want to shit on anybody's parade. I understand this is an important movie to a lot of people, but then again, if you're going to listen to this podcast, I'm going to keep it real with you people. The best parts of the movie were in the fucking commercial. And the one parts they kept out of the fucking commercial was the fucking was Hades or whatnot, Ares or whatever, and Ares was fucking corny as shit. It's the wild thornberries with muscles and a fucking iron helmet. You know, it was good. It wasn't great. Maybe it's a good leap off point. You know, maybe now that we got to know her a little bit, maybe it'll make us like her a little. But not for nothing, it didn't make me like her more in Batman v Superman. Like, if I go back and watch Batman v Superman, it's not like I'm like, oh, there's this big great grand story behind this chick. Oh, we got to watch her. No, she's still the best part of Batman v Superman. This movie didn't enhance it, you know. And maybe it'll enhance her performance in Justice League. I don't know. But it's a good movie, but it wasn't fucking great, and it isn't this great groundbreaking thing. Maybe, you know, okay, this will open the door and pave the way for, you know, Captain Marvel and who's the other one that everyone wants to fucking, you know.
Well, they'd like to see what's her name have a movie too,
like a Black Widow movie or Captain Marvel. Or, you know, and I mean, there's a million female characters. You know, if they ever wanted to do maybe a She-Hulk movie or something like that, you know, but. You know, once again, that's why I've kind of kept my mouth shut, because I know I'm a miserable, hateful, negative prick, but I don't want to shit on anybody's parade because Wonder Woman wasn't that great.
Well, and I think that's going to be it for him.
That's going to be it. I think we actually went a whole episode without the heat clicking on. It took us to get to 65-degree weather.
It might happen.
Well, but if it happens now, I don't care. But I really like this episode. It's probably one of our better ones from recent episodes. But if you'd like to learn more about the show, if you're new, welcome. Please visit twostrangerspodcast.net, where you can find all things show related. First and foremost, you can find links to our iTunes. So if you have an iPhone, an iPad, or iPod, you can subscribe to us there. Download us to your iPhone, your iPad, or iPod. If you don't have those items, you can find us on the Stitcher app. That's STITCHER. Stitcher, who, I'm not going to lie, I love them and I use their product. That's how I listen to podcasts. But recently, they've been having server issues, and they were down for a couple of days. And like my one beef with Stitcher, and I understand they do it to make money, but like. Now, recently, if you listen to your podcast while you're online, sometimes, and maybe it's just me, and maybe because my phone's a piece of shit, like, randomly in the middle of an episode, it'll just play a commercial. And it's like a Stitcher commercial. And, you know, and I understand if they're like, you could find our podcast on Stitcher, and I understand that for them making us available, it's not fucking free. You know, and I understand that, you know, but I don't know, for some reason it's kind of jarring. I can understand, like, at the end of an episode, or even before an episode plays, you want to have a commercial, which I get and does. I know definitely before an episode it'll play a commercial if you're online. But I've noticed, and once again, it could be because I have a shitty phone or something, and maybe my data connection isn't that great. But like, it'll play a fucking commercial like in the middle of an episode, with no prompt or anything. You know, at least like, we'll be right back, or something. Now a word from Stitcher or something to that effect. So as much as I love Stitcher, they are my primary, how I primarily listen to podcasts, and, you know, any podcast worth listening to, you know, Chris Hardwick's Nerdist, Kevin Smith's Modcast, This American Life, Mark Maron, and of course, Paulie's other baby, the Toonami Faithful podcast. All of those podcasts are available on the Stitcher app.
The only Toonami podcast you should be listening to.
And if you're someone like me,
well, you can listen to the show. You can listen to the showdown, but other than that, those are the only two podcasts.
Which is we're still waiting on Paul's approval for the press pass.
I hope it happens.
The deadline's in a couple of days, but it's going to be fun. Me and Paul pretty much living together for 4 days.
Oh God,
going to.
I'm so fucked
because we're going to be working all day together in the con. And then when we're not in the con, you're coming to my fucking house. I mean, unless you're gonna get a fucking hotel room, so you're gonna be stuck with my ass.
I'm freeloading.
Yeah, but that being said, I mean,
I'll have to bring a cover with me. I'll have to bring a pillow.
My mom will feed you good.
God.
But so
she one of those ones where she gives you like, you're gonna eat this.
You're gonna eat this, and if you want a little bit, tell her you don't want anything. If you want a lot, tell her you want a little bit. If you don't want anything, you're gonna have to shoot her because she's gonna give you food.
So basically, I'm gonna come home fat. You're gonna
come home fatter. Now,
I will fucking murder you.
But that being said, so we're still waiting on Paul's approval for the press pass for New York Comic Con. But his other baby, the Toonami Faithful podcast, is what's actually getting us our press pass into Comic Con. And I was already approved. Our cameraman Matt Cartelli was already approved.
Oh, he got approved in like what, 2 seconds?
Yeah, well, Matt jumps on. Matt is a good soldier. He takes care of things. I'm just lazy and
you know it's gonna be really funny
because I'm lazy and poor.
He's gonna sit there and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna go to this panel. Okay, give me your camera.
Yeah,
I got this.
Yeah, well, I got this. Make it come to put it to good use.
We're gonna put it to good use.
Yeah, and so that being said, now when you have when you have the Stitcher app, I use the listen later option and the available offline option. That way, when you're in a place that has Wi-Fi, you could listen to you download your podcasts and then listen to them later. So you're not killing your data plan, you're not killing your battery, and and actually, when you're listening to podcasts, your phone will last a long time because I've gone and done laundry for a couple of hours, and I take forever folding, and listen to and like it barely puts a dent in your battery life. But then again, it could be a phone to phone based. If your phone sucks, your phone sucks. Let me see. Okay, and then of course our main hosting site, SoundCloud. You can find it on SoundCloud.com. You can find us on the SoundCloud app. I still haven't figured out if you can download them or not. I make them available for download on the website. I think on Apple devices you can download them. Android, I'm still having a problem with the Android app when it comes to SoundCloud.
But you can use the SoundCloud app to listen to.
But you can listen to. You can find us on the SoundCloud app. That they are our main. They are the main site that hosts the actual podcast. We are on the Google Play Store, but I don't really know anybody who uses the Google Play Store for SoundCloud. If you want to write us the way Oscar did, you can write us at twostrangersonepodcast@gmail.com. That's all spelled out, twostrangersonepodcast, and contribute to the show as well as Oscar does. One episode he's bashing Jen. One email is bashing Jen. The next email he's bashing me, and then the next email he's saying happy anniversary. Well, that kind of feedback we love, and we'd like to get more from our listeners. And of course, Oscar, keep up the good work. But you can write us. Now, of course, we want your money. We need your money, and one day we will have a Patreon. But if you want to support the show and it takes 2 seconds and it's absolutely free, go on Facebook, facebook.com/twostrangersonepodcast, like the episode, share the episode on your page, share it anywhere, share it everywhere, put it, share it on your friend's page, say, these guys are funny, I love them, they're great, listen to the podcast. So once again, that would be a way to support the show, without spending a dime. And it works for us. We're on Twitter @StrangerPodcast. I keep neglecting it. And for the episodes now, recently, once we switched servers over to SoundCloud, all the older episodes, even though this podcast has been on for 5 years, we've only had episodes from the past couple of months. If you want to find old episodes, you could go on YouTube and search for Two Strangers, One Podcast, and you can find all 5 years worth of podcasts if you want to listen to. I can't tell you to click like, I can't tell you to click on the ads before the video, and I can't tell you to click on ads during the video. But if you do, it does go and support the show, and I'll have a whole $1.21. And you could also find my Stranger Vlogs on our YouTube channel. Subscribe to that also, because we need more subscribers so I can get a personalized website, so it's not youtube.com/4689242QX.
It's all about
W Pi whatever. Where we actually get it's not happening yet, but we could actually get YouTube / Two Strangers One Podcast or something like that, or YouTube / 2S1P or something. And people don't be fucking trolls and take those before we get them. I can't think of anything else. I acquiesce the floor to you, sir.
All right, so you can find me on Twitter at Paul Pascrillo. You can find me on Instagram. It's instagram.com/Paul Pascrillo. And you can also ask me questions. It's ask.fm/Paul Pascrillo. And, of course, you can email me. It's paulpascrillo@ToonamiFaithful.com if you want to talk to me about things. So there you go.
And let me see. I didn't provoke it. You provoked it. I just let it happen. Just saying that for the record. Not you in particular. I'm just talking out loud. We certainly hope you enjoyed listening and had as much fun as we did recording Two Strangers One Podcast. Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed listening to Two Strangers One Podcast. We hope you had as much fun listening as we did recording. Thank you for listening to Two Strangers One Podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Paul.
Don't be a stranger.
Peace. We're out.
Bye. You should be fapping.
Hit the end button.
STD free, people. That's what happens when you fap all the time.
Oh my god.
You don't get herpes.
All right, here we go, man. Go ahead. You want to read
Double Jackpot.
What is it?
It is a self-published book by Christopher Cologne.
Chris Cologne? Smells good to me.
But
look at her. That broke that fucking cold little exterior. He's like, hee.
But it is spelled COLON.
Him punny.
But Double Jackpot is a book about a comic book artist, Eric, who is in a loveless relationship with a materialistic
I feel you, Eric.
Lynette.
Oh, fucking. Are you sure I didn't write this? Sounds hauntingly familiar.
He starts cheating on his girlfriend with a more creatively supportive woman, Nadia.
Well, I got to meet her. Where's the Nadia?
There's your summer girlfriend.
Summer Nadia is Nadia.
Nadia?
Yeah, I think Nadia spelled with an A.
All right.
Both Lynette and Nadia play the double jackpot, the largest payout in lotto history, much like the recent Powerball. Both girls play his birth date as the winning numbers. Eric is now stuck between two of the country's richest women. Who will he choose? It's not that simple. This is a clever fucking idea,
yeah,
man.
Is.
Look at her. Fucking, she's impressed.
I am.
She got some summer reading. Christopher Cologne smells real lovely with an original idea. This is. I've never heard this before.
I haven't either. This is a self-published book, much in the indie spirit as Kev's Clerks.
Oh, you don't even need to name check me. This is just a good idea. You could stand on your own, man. You don't even have to be like, hey, remember Clerks? This is nothing like that. This is way more original than Clerks. This is a good idea, man. Why didn't I think of this?
I need something to read. This book is part of the Comic Books, Heavy Metal, Video Games Trilogy Book 2. Odd I See, A Tale from the Road, coming soon.
Right on, man. It's part of a trilogy. This is the first part.
Way to write, man.
He's seeking a literary agent. Motherfuckers, anybody out there? There ain't no literary agents listening to this show, I assure you, sure. Sure. I assure you, sure. But somebody know a literary agent? Hook a motherfucker up! Chris Cologne come up with an original idea. I should tell Raskin. That's a good fucking idea, to be honest with you. That's a fucking rom-com right there. Megan, get Raskin on the phone. Isn't it possible to get Raskin on the phone? No?
Yeah.
I want to run it past him, man. I want to, and if it happens, I get a taste, Chris Cologne. I get a whiff, if you will.
The book could also be ordered on www.lulu.com.
That's lulu.com.
I understand that. I just want to spell it out.
Normally one says that spells it. Still, lulu.com. What is that? Do you know what it is?
I don't know. All right. The book could also be ordered on www.lulu.com. Search for Double Jackpot Christopher Cologne. A paperback version of the book is $15 and a PDF file is only $5.
$5 is
yeah.
insanely inexpensive. 15's not even that bad for a paperback version.
No.
This is $1 million idea right here. Like a movie about a dude who fucking is stuck between two chicks, both of who play his birthday and win the lottery. Come on! I can see that trailer. Chris Cologne is on to something. Nobody else can smell it but me.
I'll read it.
Thank you. I'm going to make that smelly joke.
I know. You're trying to get me to laugh again.
It worked once. Double Jackpot is a self-published book by Chris Cologne, man. It's the first book in his comic books, heavy metal, video games trilogy. Book 2, Odd I See, A Tale from the Road, should be coming out soon. Get all the information at Chris Cologne, like a motherfucker.
I will
his
totally
book,
read this.
Double Jackpot. I'm serious. I'm going to recommend that to fucking Raskin. How is that not a movie? You know what I'm saying? This could be a sexy movie. You could do an R-rated version. There could be nudie in it, and you could saw them fucking both chicks. Maybe a little penetration. Maybe a butthole shot. No butthole, no care.
I would like to formally apologize to Christopher Cologne.
No, sex sells. Chris Cologne will appreciate that. He's like, thanks for throwing a few buttholes in there, man.
Don't forget to check out twostrangersonepodcast.net, your one-stop resource for everything show-related. You can find links to subscribe to us on iTunes or on Stitcher. You could also find links to buy my book, Double Jackpot, on twostrangersonepodcast.net.
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're cool. And fuck you, I'm out.